This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
Hey, Dad, this is Pinky, and you're listening to Animaniacs. You know why? Because you're going to take over the world.
Narf.
And welcome, everybody, to a Pinky in the Brain episode of the Animaniacs.
No, Joyce DeWitt, you can't be serious. Paper mache? No, stupid.
Brain,
Stupid! What? What is it?
you were having a bad dream.
Yes. Oh, it was horrible, Pinky. I was dreaming that I was a mouse bent on global domination and all my plans were humiliating failures.
That's ridiculous. That's absurd. Oh, wait. That's true.
Narf.
Yes, always.
And welcome, everybody, once again to the Animaniacs. We're the only podcast out there that talks exclusively about the animated series Animaniacs. And right now, you're probably asking yourself, what are we going to do tonight? Well, it's the same thing we do every night. Try to talk about Pinky in the Brain, revisiting all the cultural references and gags. And in the end, we're going to be giving this episode a Water Tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again, right next to me, is my brother Nathan. Set the balloon people free! And joining us from across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hello.
Hello. I was wondering when watching this episode if Nathan was going to say, set the balloon people free, or blah, 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 big word.
It's all good.
It's one of those two things, and set the balloon people free wins. Well, yes, today we are talking about an episode of Pinky the Brain. We, of course, have been despite what the intro that Nathan types up for me to say, we don't exclusively talk about Animaniacs anymore. We talk about Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky in the Brain, Freakazoid, and Animaniacs, and it's just, Pinky in the Brain's rotation.
I just like that you immediately contradict yourself.
I'm very good, yes, at doing that.
It's like,
this is...
we talk exclusively of this. And today we're talking about this.
But today we're going to be talking about, I believe it's episode 33 from the third season of Pinky in the Brain. Is this right?
Yeah.
This episode features the segments The Pinky POV, The Really Great Dictator, and Brain Food. And if you were to describe this episode in just a few words, what would you say, Nathan?
Pinky is a genius, just like every episode of Pinky in the Brain.
Okay. Kelly, what about you?
Frog the dry widget.
There you go. Those few words just sum up the entire episode. Frog the dry widget. Somebody would, if you by the way, if you say go up to somebody, just say frog the dry widget, they might think you're having a stroke. So just
maybe
just be careful. Oh, anyway, Nathan, please tell us, when did this episode first premiere?
Oh boy. Okay, so Joey, this episode premiered on May 16th, 1998. It was, of course, a Saturday. It was just one day after the release of the movie The Horse Whisperer. Just 4 days before Matthew Broderick fought Godzilla in the movie Godzilla.
Okay, I saw that horrible movie, yes.
Television show Seinfeld aired its final episode.
I saw that horrible episode, yes.
Yeah. Same with Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, also.
Never saw it.
Okay, well. This was just 2 weeks before SNL star Phil Hartman was shot and killed by his wife.
Boo.
So, yeah. But we did get Godzilla this month, so it's good.
Yeah, that wasn't that good. And what were you going to say about Seinfeld, Kelly?
Oh, I was just saying I watched the final episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 7.4 million people, I believe.
Wow.
I remember right, so.
Wow. You mentioned The Horse Whisperer. Never seen that movie, but I did see it recently on Netflix. The Horse Girl or something?
I watched that movie.
That's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Is that even good? Oh, it's bad?
It's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird. So
and not very good.
You can't watch it and be like, I didn't understand it.
You watched it and you said, okay.
I was watching BoJack Horseman like at the same time, and then I saw Horse Girl, and that both of them have Alison Brie.
Yeah.
And one's about a horse man, one's about a horse girl. It's just funny.
Yeah.
You should watch Lock and Key. That was really good.
Okay. Well, I will watch Lock and Key. That's on my list of Netflix things to watch, but I'm not 100% sure I'd recommend Horse Girl to people unless you're really in the mood to watch something really weird. And yeah. Well, anyway, we're going to watch something that's kind of weird right now. We're going to talk about the Pinky the Brain one, starting with the Pinky POV. The Pinky POV was written by Gordon Bresick, and it was directed by Mike Milo. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in the Pinky POV?
Well, the interesting thing about this one is it literally is from Pinky's POV. It's like a first-person shooter kind of perspective.
What a great game this would be.
So you just see... Oh, yeah, it'd be really cool. So you kind of just see the tip of Pinky's nose because he's kind of like looking out over his nose for the majority of the episode. And...
Pinky, will you stop that?
No. Of course, Brain. Eventually I'll have to stop it. I mean, I'll have to sleep, eat, and go to the bar.
I meant, will you stop that now?
No. Well, I guess I will.
So Brain is trying to explain his... latest plan to take over the world, and it took me a moment to realize what was happening, but whenever he starts talking in technical terms, he goes blah blah blah, and I was like, why is he doing that? But then I realized very quickly that that's how Pinky interprets it. So I mean, again, it literally is from his point of view, so it's not just his visual point of view, but what is going on in his head.
Yes, Pinky. Now hold these high-tension wires. And remember not to put the two ends together, because if you do, blah, 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 big word, blah, 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 blah.
And while Brain's talking, he's starting to think about how big Brain's brain must be and how he must have a big head. And then you kind of see in his mind's perspective, Brain's got this really big head with a hippopotamus body, and
hippopotamuses have large heads. It must be very difficult for them to buy party hats. Not to mention their unmentionables. And I can't even begin to imagine what a large pachyderm would wear at the beach.
Zort.
Pinky's mind is so all over the place while Brain's trying to explain his plan, so it's really funny. And he's drawing it up on the board, and Pinky's talking about what nice wallpaper it is, and then he starts playing tic-tac-toe, and that helps him finally come to the conclusion of what he needs to do to enact his plan. So he decides he wants to dress up as a grunge rocker and go up to the top of the Space Needle and play music, and it's going to make everyone's pants turn into gelatin.
Yes, including culottes.
Including culottes.
Yes.
And
I'll tell you when to hit the switch, and then once everyone's pants have turned to gelatin, the world will be mine.
Pants?
No.
Oh, I never would have guessed. Does that include culottes?
Probably.
You are brilliant, Brain. I mean, Jude.
The whole thing is just so weird. Yeah. And he's talking about how it's never sunny in Seattle, and he's man, and Pinky is dude, and they are going to be the band Frog the Dry Widget, which of course is a play on Toad the Wet Sprocket. And which was a 90s band. And are they still a band? Or
I don't know. I don't know. They did a song that was very popular. The "All I Want Is to Feel This Way," and I would hear that a lot in the late 90s, early 2000s on the radio constantly.
But yeah, definitely big enough to get a reference in Pinky and the Brain. So Brain tells Pinky, the one thing to not do is don't turn the volume down. And everything's going really well. He's playing the guitar. Everybody's into the music. And he tells Pinky something, and Pinky can't hear him. And so he turns the volume down, and then they get blasted out of the Space Needle, and then tumble to the ground. And then they are walking along a window with the rain coming behind them, or, in the reflection. And so this is when you can actually see Pinky, because every so often throughout the episode, you don't really see him because he's first person perspective, but you see his reflection in the window. And, or Pinky says, what are we going to do tomorrow? And Brain goes, blah, 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 blah.
I don't know what you see in me.
You'd be surprised, Brain.
Come, Pinky. We must return to the lab and prepare for tomorrow night.
Why, Brain? What are we going to do tomorrow night?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Blah, 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 blah!
They're Dinky, they're Pinky, and the blah, 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 blah.
That's kind of the end of the episode.
And that makes really sense.
Oh, and then he sees him as a hippopotamus in the reflection.
Yes. And yeah, so I really liked that part right there, because everything, like, why are we doing tomorrow night? It's like you're totally understanding why Pinky always asks him the same question, because he never listens to
that
him.
part of the conversation.
Yeah, he's always for infinity. We'll always ask Brain, "What are we doing tomorrow night?" Because he never hears him. What a neat first.
Too busy
cartoon.
envisioning him as a hippopotamus.
What was that again?
I said he's too busy envisioning him as a hippopotamus.
Very true. Yeah, I really got the boy. If you ever needed to know what ADHD must feel like,
Right.
I think this.
And I
was
also
it.
like it explains why Pinky's always, are you pondering what I'm pondering? And then he's always this random weird thing.
Yes.
Because he's on this other thought.
So he's talking about. He's thinking about a hippo. He's thinking about it.
Exactly.
So there were some really great moments. I mean, the references, we kind of talked about the grunge stuff. I think they kind of referenced Starbucks a little bit. The Toad the Red Sprocket was, I think, the main one. There's also, I think, a quick reference to Elsa Clench, like, oh, it's a mystery of Elsa Clench or something like that. And Elsa Clench is we had to look that up.
It's a person.
She's she's an author. She's a mystery writer, I believe. So just in case you couldn't figure it out by him just saying that.
Not like important to the episode.
No, not at all. But apparently Gordon Bresick must have liked Elsa Clench, perhaps. Yeah. I don't know. But it was really fun. I really do like just the way that this was, I guess, directed and shot, if you could say it's shot, drawn. Seeing Pinky in the mirror and in various reflective surfaces
as
cool.
a maid or grunge or
and we got to see the brain like get blown up and turn into dust in this one.
Yeah, that was disturbing.
That was the worst I've ever seen the brain get hurt.
Yeah.
But I wasn't quite 100% sure that he did. You know what I mean? Like, he got blasted away and he never because he got shocked.
Yeah.
And you assume that he turned into a pile of ashes and then, put himself together in the trash can, which cartoon characters often do. But I almost feel like, did the brain just get blasted apart, blasted away, and then fell into the trash can, and then Pinky dumped stuff on him?
Sure.
Either way, it was
Either
weird.
way works.
But it was cool. What did you guys think about this episode?
I liked it. It was very well done animation-wise. Like, just all the shots were very well picked, I thought. So,
yeah, it was
and very clever idea too.
Very creative. Kelly, what about you?
I agree with all that, and I loved seeing Pinky's reflections and everything, and periodically, and thought it was very unique and different, and really enjoyed it.
I also liked the way that the brain thinks that grunge people talk with man and dude, and
right.
I think he goes up to the guy and he talks about being groovy. Yeah, we have a groovy song.
What do you two want?
We are the groovy rock and roll combo, Frog the Dry Widget. We are putting on a hootenanny in the Space Needle. Dude.
Yes, Brain. I mean, man.
I wasn't rapping with you, dude.
When he's like, I'm not sure they talk at all. Like,
Yeah, but then the piercings, like his piercings, like the brain put like piercings in his ears, and I just noticed that Pinky has lots of piercings in his tail.
Yeah.
So they really went all out with piercings for a grunge look as well. So I don't know. It was cute. It was very kind of late 90s humor right there, talking about grunge, which we don't really talk about that much anymore these days.
I still miss flannel shirts, though.
Hey, no one says you can't wear flannel still. You go for it.
Well, I think they've made a comeback, but I used to wear my dad's, and for listeners who don't know, I'm very petite, and so I have pictures from high school wearing my dad's flannel shirt, and I looked ridiculous, but I thought I was cool.
Yeah, I used to dress up all in black in high school, not because I was like goth or anything, but I wanted to try to look like Luke in Return of the Jedi.
Luke was goth.
Luke was so goth. Well,
Very goth. He was. Oh, so that's where Kylo Ren gets his emo goth vibe
yeah.
from.
He's just totally copying Luke. Man. Anyway, well, let's go ahead and get to the next segment, which is the really great Dictator. And the really great Dictator was written by Liz Halsman and directed by Mike Milo. In fact, I think all these episodes, by the way, are directed by Mike Milo today. So it starts off, it's kind of a normal day at Acme Labs. The brain is upset about humanity not acknowledging him as a superior.
Rather than have their open acceptance and adulation, I am forced to dupe the masses into submission. Yes! Don't believe that I, a lab mouse, the lowliest and most reviled of Earth's creatures, will one day rule the world. Well, the second lowliest.
It goes into a song. It's basically the Can song, but it's actually the tune of the, what is this? Tune of the Gallop, Nathan? From Orpheus in the Underworld. Last time we heard this song on a cartoon, I think was Animaniacs talking about, the sweets. We like sweets a lot, so give us
Ingredients.
Yes, the ingredient song.
Grade A milk emulsified, maltodextrin alkylide, silicon dioxide, lots of sugar.
Hey, all right.
Calcified synthetic salt, artificial barley malt, glycerin and aspartate, folic acid.
That tastes great.
Monosodium glutamate, dehydrated calciumate, soybean oil, butter fat, caramel sensor.
I'll eat that.
I like that song a lot. Well, anyway, this song right here is awesome. Very catchy. I liked it. And at the end, they basically they're singing to the camera, and the camera falls down right on top of them, and that's pretty much the end. There's not too much more to say about this. I'll just play a little sample of it right here, and then we'll talk about what we liked about it.
Noriega, Genghis Khan, Saddam Hussein, and me, the brain, we all have this one thing in common. We are into world domination.
It's a new sensation. Try it and you'll feel elation.
It's the gift to give the guy who wants everything.
Military takeovers.
Governmental makeovers.
Coup d'etat, let me confide.
Well, Nathan, what did you like about this song and dance they did?
It romanticizes authoritarian governments. Who wouldn't love that?
I'll say I really like the who would have ever thought that talking about singing about Genghis Khan and Saddam Hussein and all these wonderful people in such an upbeat tune be so nice. Now one thing I was a little confused about, though, he says keep your junta occupied. What's a junta? I didn't look that up. Did anybody?
No, I know the term.
I heard it. I just looked it up. It says a military...
But I think it's just like an organization.
Yes, a military or political group that rules a country after taking power by force. The country's ruling military junta. Yes. So there you go. There's some... So it keeps your junta occupied. Yes. And I believe this is also the episode, the segment, I should say, where it kind of like allude to other schemes that they've done, right? Like, don't they talk about the crab meat in this one?
And magnetic shoes. So,
yeah, so that was kind of cool to see, like, references to previous episodes of Pinky and the Brain. Kelly, what did you like about this song here?
I like the tune, and of course I recognized it from the Animaniacs episode. And I just thought it was very cleverly written, and very unusual topic for children's television song.
Yes, you could learn all about political maneuvers to make people trust you as follow you as a dictator. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, and it's nice to know we all learned what Bunsen burners do.
Pinky, how did you know what that is?
Well, I'm not stupid, Brain. Everyone knows that you just put your old used Bunsen's in there and it burns them all up into a little pile of ashes. Ashes, we all fall down. Zord.
Okay. Sorry I asked.
So, very nice.
I mean, that was pretty smart. To at least know what they're called is pretty good.
Sure.
And he knows what a coup d'etat is.
Because he says the word coup d'etat, right?
Yeah, he says coup d'etat.
Well, he doesn't know that he means it. He knows what it
maybe.
means, but
Same with the Bunsen burner. Maybe.
well, I just whenever I remember first hearing the word Bunsen burner in like middle school, I think in chemistry or something, and immediately thought of just the Muppets because.
Well, why wouldn't you?
I know exactly. It's like, oh, Bunsen? Oh yeah, Bunsen beaker. Yeah, cool.
Then I finally got it.
Yeah, exactly. How many years later? Well, anyway.
I was today years old when I learned.
Well, there's just one more segment in this episode, so let's get to it. It's called Brain Food. And Brain Food was written by Gordon Presek and Bill Bronstein, or Bronstein. I don't know if it's a Steen or a Stein, but there's a Braun, and it's Bill. And it's directed, once again, by Mike Milo. Nathan, why don't you go ahead and tell us what happens in Brain Food?
Oh, boy. Okay, so the brain has figured out, I guess he's sleeping. You know, he's having this nightmare. He wakes up and he's like, oh, man, I had the worst dream that I was a mouse trying to take over the world, and my plots kept getting ruined because of, I don't know, my own idiocy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then he realized the reason they were getting ruined is because humans are just too stupid to accept him as their leader. So he decides to make everyone smarter so that they will accept him as the rightful ruler of Earth.
You know what this is, Pinky?
The talent of the Spice Girls in liquid form?
Close. This is an extract of the medulla stem piney nut. When combined with these other ingredients and then consumed, it can quadruple one's IQ.
Narf.
Narf, indeed.
His plan is to feed everyone pizzas that have liquid containing the medulla stem piney nut that makes people 4 times smarter than they were before. He opens up a restaurant called Planet Brain, and he gets celebrity endorsements.
Planet Brain.
But Brain, where are we going to get the money to open a restaurant?
From our celebrity partners, of course. Do we have a dealer, partners?
Ja. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay!
Yes!
And so everyone's eating these pizzas, and lo and behold, they get smarter, and they realize, hey, that's a mouse. This is disgusting. We shouldn't be eating at a restaurant. And they kick him out of they chase him out, rather. And they grab some balloons, and they're floating away. And that's when Pinky, whose plan this whole time was to set the balloon people free, has come to fruition, because he then sets the balloon people free, and they fall through the lab, and that's how the episode ends. So
Falling through the glass. I wonder how many times in Pinky the Brain they end the episode with them falling through the Acme Lab roof.
Yeah, it's
Probably
only
a lot of them.
Yeah, when they want to actually get them back to the lab, it's probably the easiest way to get them back to the lab.
Fall in.
Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of celebrities in this episode. A lot. And, of course, it was making fun of Planet Hollywood. And have you ever been to a Planet Hollywood, Kelly? I know.
Yeah, one of my well, not one of my first date I ever had during Dragon Con, and we went to the Planet Hollywood down the street from the hotels.
So yeah, I remember going to Planet Hollywood in Hollywood, and yeah, you know, I just it's cool. I guess they're still around. I don't know if Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Bruce Willis are still involved with it all, but I remember in the 90s it was a big deal that these celebrities were getting basically a fast food chain, but it was a restaurant chain all throughout the country. And did they have them in Atlanta, or did they have them just like? I know they had them in L.A. and like.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was during Dragon Con.
Oh yeah, that's right. Dragon Con is in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I forget.
They had it was right next to the Hard Rock.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
So we still have a Hard Rock, but the Planet Hollywood is long gone.
Yeah, they closed a bunch of them down. Well, there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's talk about it as quickly as we can. There's a talk of mouse elopes in this episode.
That was like during the nightmare?
Yes, during the nightmare. And that's a reference to an episode of Pinky the Brain where the deer and the mouse elope play. He's talking about Titanic, the musical, and having nightmares about that.
That was an actual thing, I guess?
It was.
Didn't remember that at all.
And side note, I believe it's had like some small revivals here and there.
Yeah, I think it's on tour.
It did really well, the 97 Tonys. It won
I remember like when people were, when it was coming out, people were like, oh, I do remember people like laughing it off, like, oh, what a stupid musical. But it was one of those musicals that people, when it came out, people were like, actually, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that actually Cody Ruger was recently in a production of it, of all people. So there you go. So Titanic, the musical. Joyce DeWitt was mentioned, and she was the brunette in Three's Company. Of course, he mentions "Yes, always."
Whenever I hear that, I'm just like, "Yes."
I was very happy to hear the brain say that again, because we all know it's from "Yes, always" from Animaniacs. Maury Povich was mentioned quite a bit. He's still doing his thing. Everyone knows who Maury Povich is. The Spice Girls were mentioned. He talks about the talent of the Spice Girls in liquid form is presented to him in a little tiny thimble. The slight burn on the Spice Girls right there. Wolfgang Brain.
That's his pizza company, right?
Yes. Instead of Wolfgang Puck, who of course has his own restaurants and own frozen foods and everything like that. So let's see. The celebrities. Let's go over the different celebrities that are in there. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Bryce Wallace.
Wallace, yeah, was
instead of Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
and
that was the only one they gave a name to.
Oh yeah, oh baby.
Wow, there's movie superstar Bryce Wallace on stage, serenading the standing room only crowd at the showbiz event of the moment.
Oh yeah! Well, all right now, baby. Oh yeah. Oh baby. Oh baby. Oh yeah, baby. Baby now. Baby, yeah. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
And I do. You've seen Bruce Willis like play his harmonica and stuff.
Yeah, I found some YouTube videos.
Oh, he's pretty interesting. He thinks he's great. I'm sure. Hey, he plays the harmonica better than I can. Oh, Nathan put a little video of it for me.
Right, you watch.
Oh, now we're gonna have some fun. Watch out.
Okay. I don't think you can hear this, Kelly, but we're playing Bruce Willis.
Okay.
It's so good. Starts off with "Oh yeah" in his song. That checks.
Well, I feel so good today. On a touchdown, international runway.
Well, he got some big crowd in front of him. All right, Bruce. All right. Bruce. Stop. Thank you. But anyway, Bruce Willis, he does say the oh yeah stuff. So there you go. That's something.
He's not a great singer.
Well, he thought he was, and that's all that's important. In fact, even on his recent roast on Comedy Central, I think he ended it by playing the harmonica and singing because he's like, I'm good at this. Anyway, Nathan here made a list of some of the celebrities that he saw, and some of them I agree with, and some of them I don't because. Really? Well, I'll have to see it. One of them, Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't remember seeing her there, but she
was next to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That would make sense with True Lies.
I was like, it's a lady in black with really short
Well, it had to be that. Then it has to be Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, so Jamie Lee Curtis is there. Midtown Julie Green is a reference to Downtown Julie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
She introduces it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously. Morgan Freeman. Clint Eastwood was there. Madonna, Christopher Walken, Dolly Parton, Ron Howard, Woody Allen, Mel Gibson, Cher, Jack Nicholson, Whoopi Goldberg, Jay Leno, Marlon Brando. I also saw David Letterman in there.
That's who that person was. I was like, who is a gap tooth?
Yep, that's David Letterman.
That was David Letterman.
And I believe that's about it. Of course, there's also a reference to the Terminator with Schwarzenegger said, "Call the exterminator." But so some cute stuff there. But anyway, a lot of stuff in there. And overall, it was very cute. What did you guys think about it? Kelly, let's start with you. What do you think about the brain food?
I thought it was cute. I had forgotten all about Planet Hollywood, so it was kind of neat to see that. Felt kind of nostalgic for a moment, and seeing all the actors and everybody and trying to figure out who was who. Of course, I was looking for Spielberg, but I did not see him, so they missed an opportunity.
Yeah, he wouldn't be caught dead in a Planet Hollywood or Planet Brain. He had his own restaurant chain, didn't he? Actually, though,
It wasn't a chain. It was there was one called the Dive.
Yeah, the Dive, with like a submarine restaurant experience. I
don't think it lasted very long. It was sort of around the time Sequest was on the air, so I thought it was such a cool idea. And his mother had a restaurant. And he's keeping it going. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's in Los Angeles, I think.
Yeah, I forget the name of his mom's restaurant as well, but I do remember hearing people talking about the Dive and how
it's kind of a dive.
It was the dive bar, basically. No, but it was people would make it sound, they would make it themed to "We're going underwater, dive." Like, I don't know, all the waiters.
Cool. Man, I thought I was the one that remembered that.
Yeah, I don't know why I remember hearing about that. Maybe it was on something on Comedy Bang Bang or like a podcast.
Maybe. I thought I heard it from Kelly or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I was like, I've definitely heard this.
Heard of the Dive somewhere. Anyway.
I remember I used to record news shows and Entertainment Tonight and stuff all the time, so I'd make these VHS tapes with clips of anything with like Harrison Ford interviews on David Letterman, commercials, whatever. And I remember I think it was Entertainment, like News Weekend Review or something, was talking about the Dive, and I can still see in my head like the picture of the restaurant that they showed, and I'm sure it's still on a VHS somewhere.
Well, they don't have themed restaurant by celebrities anymore, really. It seems like, luckily, it seems most people got out of that stuff. But anyway. Well. What do you think, Nathan, about this episode?
I really liked that Pinky was actually pondering the same thing as Brain for the first time. There was no way that they would possibly be pondering the same thing.
Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
Oh, I'd say the odds of that are terribly slim, Brain.
True.
I mean, really, when have I ever been pondering what you've been pondering?
To my knowledge, never.
Exactly. So, what are the chances that this time I'm pondering what you're pondering?
Next to nil.
Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking too.
Therefore, you are pondering what I'm pondering.
Put. I guess I am.
Again, another moment of, you could tell like this is the last season of Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, like we've done this so many times. Like obviously, there's no chance that they're going to be pondering the same thing.
Exactly.
So you could really see that the writers were this, Brain.
Yeah,
like you ask me this every week. Do you really think there's any chance that I'm pondering the same thing as you?
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah, exactly. This is the last season. You could see that like the writers were just kind of having fun with this concept. Like, look. This is never going to happen, okay?
Yeah.
But still very cute. Again, just a nice little glimpse back to celebrity culture, I guess, back in the late 90s. And a great song right there at the end with Bryce. Not Bryce Wallace. Bryce Wallace, that's his name.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Bryce Dallas Howard, but that's not. That's somebody different. That's somebody actually talented. Oh, burn. Okay, let's go ahead and get to our water tower rating. Well, what do you guys think? Out of 5 water towers, how many water towers would you give this episode of Pinky and the Brain? Kelly, let's start with you.
I think I'll give it 4. Water Towers. I thought overall it was a really good episode, and unlike most Pinky and the Brains, it had a song, so that was new and different, and really enjoyed the first segment, and I thought that their segment was really good too. So yeah, all around very good.
Nathan, what about you?
I'll do 4.5. Why not? Because I don't know, that Pinky POV was just like really well done. Just all the animation. We're seeing like Pinky getting beaten up in the trash can, like the reflection of that. I don't know. I just thought there was a lot of really cool shots like that, and it was lots of celebrity stuff. You know, it's fun. Just overall, pretty good episode.
I would think 4.5 out of 5 is pretty good.
It's pretty good. There you go.
I'll give it a 4. I liked it a lot. I definitely thought it was one of the more imaginative episodes. I could definitely see why people, when they talked about their favorite episodes of Pinky the Brain recently, they kept mentioning Pinky POV as one that really stood out for a lot of people. And it does. It was definitely different than all the other ones that we've seen so far. So very happy to have finally watched this, because I don't think I've ever seen it before. And I really did enjoy it. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. Well, we have a Pinky the Brain poll to get to. Speaking of, favorite Pinky the Brain stuff. And this involves, what is your favorite Pinky the Brain Animaniacs segment? It came down to Pavlov's Mice and Bubba Bo Bob Brain. I do not have the results in front of me, so let's go off to the announcer.
Oh,
let's take him off. Animaniacast announcer, take it away.
Hello again. This is your Animaniacast announcer, here with the Animaniacast results for the best Pinky and the Brain cartoon on Animaniacs. Right now, I am sitting atop a hill overlooking Steven Spielberg's ranch home outside of Burbank or somewhere. I don't know. I really don't know how I got here, but the important thing is, down there is Steven Spielberg's home, and in a minute I shall impress him and then get information about the Animaniacs reboot. It makes sense. Before I do, however, here are the results of the most recent poll. Listeners were asked, which of these Pinky and the Brain cartoons featured on #Animaniacs is the best? #Animaniacast poll. Well, Pavlov's Mice got a respectable 38%, but it was no contest as Bubba Bo Bob Brain wins with 62% of the vote. Well, congratulations to Bubba Bo Bob Brain. And now it's time for me to impress Mr. Spielberg and perhaps find out some information. So I have a bike here, and I'm going to ride it up on this ramp right off the hill, and then I'll fly over his ranch home just like E.T. and Elliot. All right, here I go. Oh, down the hill. I'm doing it. I'm flying. Mr. Spielberg, about the Animaniacs reboot! Oh, well, I've fallen into a tool shed outside of the house. There's the security. Well, it didn't work out this time, but perhaps sometime there might be some Animaniacs reboot news sometime. Until then, this is the Animaniacast announcer saying, I'm off to jail. Goodbye.
So, no surprise for me anyway that Bubba Bo Bob Brain is the number one segment on Animaniacs featuring Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
Pavlov's Mice, pretty respectable, second place, I thought. I thought it was going to be...
of course it got second place.
Respectable second place.
I see.
See what I'm saying? I thought it was going to be like a blowout.
90% to 10.
I thought it was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't. So that was nice to see. Nathan, your favorite's Bubba Bo Bob Brain, I'm assuming.
I was like, I voted for Bubba Bo Bob Brain.
It's mine too. It's like we were mentioning. It's like a perfect Pinky the Brain, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But Kelly, which do you like better, Pavlov's Mice or Bubba Bo Bob Brain?
Brain.
Yeah, of course.
It's just funny to say too. Like,
I know it's the best title to say. Maybe Yes Always is also a runner-up for the funnest title of Pinky the Brain one to say. But yes, Brain is. I want to make a T-shirt that just has the lyrics of "I am a lab mouse, I escaped from my cage," like just written, just text, and that would be just a great. It'd be a great T-shirt. I'll have to make that. Put it on the Animaniacast.
yeah, do it.
Shirt. TeePublic store. tpublic.animaniacast.com. It probably won't be up there by the time this is published, but maybe someday. So
Yeah, if you're, check it out.
check it out.
Look for it. Maybe it's there right now.
Maybe
Who knows?
Probably not, but maybe. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up and get to some contact information. Nathan, where can people get in contact with you online?
Joey, I'm on Twitter. Django FT, that's me.
All right. And Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS, or email me, Kelly at BigShinyRobot.com.
All right. And we are also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Discord. Discord is the new place to be, especially for folks that want to escape all the negativity and craziness and stupidity of Facebook and Twitter and all that. So why not join the Retro Zap group? We are a proud member of the Retro Zap podcast community, and you can talk to us and the other podcasters and writers at Retro Zap by simply going to our Discord channel. You can get a welcome link by going to discord.animaniacast.com, and that'll give you the welcome link, and you can get right in there, and you can talk about Animaniacs or Star Wars or just anything pop culture in general. And it's a really positive community with really great creative folks. So join the fun. That'll do it for today's episode. So for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, Joey.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animaniacast unless otherwise indicated.